On April 27, 2023, the Las Vegas Raiders made a massive decision.
With the 7th pick in the 2023 NFL Draft, the Las Vegas Raiders select Tyrie Wilson, defensive end, Texas Tech.
When the Las Vegas Raiders decided to take Tyrie Wilson in the first round of the 2023 NFL Draft, they thought that he would become or eventually grow into a really dominant defensive lineman across from Max Crosby. But that story is about to begin. Coming into the NFL Draft, Tyrie Wilson was a guy who had elite size, a massive wingspan, and the ability to turn into a full-blown nightmare for all opponents that he goes against, if he was able to grow his frame and also his game at the same time. We also wanted to see if he was going to be able to get bigger, to get stronger, to go along with the athleticism that he already had. And when you turned on the film, you saw exactly that. Watch this play here as he absolutely bulldozes right through the left tackle and gets right to the quarterback. This was something that jumped off the film to the Las Vegas Raiders and something that made them want to go out and just grab him. Just watch the pure dominance getting through the tackle and making a play on the quarterback. This is something they thought that he could contribute right away. However, a foot injury led the Raiders to be very cautious with the way they played him in year one. But the thing that was never in doubt was the raw talent and the ability that he had coming out of college was always there, right? And they wanted to ease him into things. And now, as we are progressing into year two, going through, mandatory minicamp and OTAs, Tyrie Wilson has looked like a completely different player compared to last season, moving all along the defensive line in multiple different, positions and, play sets. This is a dude that is on pace and positioning himself to absolutely break out this season for the Raiders and make this defensive line with guys like Max Crosby, Christian Wilkins, and Malcolm Kuntz one of the best in the NFL. Early on in the season though, Tyrie Wilson was starting to get a lot of hate, and a lot of people were already putting him into the bust category as the number 8 overall pick. But some people didn't realize that with a little bit of development, you can become a superstar. I mean, just look at Max Crosby and his growth coming up as a player. Look at a guy like Nate Hobbs, right? Just a little bit of development. These guys can become the best player at their position. And Tyrie Wilson, even at times last season, showed really big things for the Las Vegas Raiders. On this play specifically, he sets the edge quickly here on Russell Wilson, but the ability to read the quarterback and understand where he needs to be. And on this play specifically, it doesn't result to anything on the stat sheet, but watch how he, gets back to the middle here and forces Russell Wilson to get back outside, allowing his teammate to come over and make a Big Ten play on the football, right? Now, if Tyrie Wilson did not contain the inside, Russell Wilson probably could have had a massive play up the middle. But again, this doesn't show up on the stat sheet, when in reality, it probably should. It should be an assisted sack, in my opinion, because if he's not there, this is an easy run up the middle for Russell Wilson and probably would have got a decent amount of yardage. But instead, Tyrie Wilson forces him back outside and allows his teammate to come from behind and make a nice play on the football. Now, in this video, I wanted to break down some Tyrie Wilson film. I wanted to keep you updated with all the news and notes that we've heard from minicamp and OTAs. Now, I want to explain exactly why I think Tyrie Wilson is about to break out for the Las Vegas Raiders in 2024. Now, the one thing I really do love about Tyrie Wilson, as you see he's on the outside of this play, is he is very reliable in the running game as well as the passing game. I think he's someone that is only going to get better from here. And you also want to look back at, what they were saying about him coming out of the draft. And the Raiders never wanted to just throw him into the mix right away. They knew that there was going to be some sense of development that needed to be done with Tyrie Wilson, which is exactly why they planned to play him behind Chandler Jones for at least the first season. And we all know what happened with Chandler Jones, right? Never really was able to do anything with the Raiders because things just started happening in his life and things went downhill very quickly, which kind of threw Tyrie Wilson into a role that he wasn't yet prepared for. But also at the same time, he was a guy that showed flashes here and there, which is very, very good to see. Now, around mid-season, the Raiders actually noticed something very intriguing. They were able to move Tyrie Wilson to the interior of the defensive line to allow Malcolm Koonce to kind of emerge on the outside edge rusher ability. And that is kind of exactly what happened. Not only did we see a massive bump in production from Tyrie Wilson, but we also saw an insane bounce of production from Malcolm Koonce as well. These two guys set alone, on the outside and the inside, are exactly what the Raiders needed. Some more guys to generate pressure, but also help out in so many different aspects of the game, right? Now you have Max Crosby, you signed Christian Wilkins, and you have the emergence of Malcolm Koonce on the outside, and now Tyrie Wilson on the inside as well. This is something that is looking extremely good for the Las Vegas Raiders going into next season. As Tyrie Wilson has, some extreme power, some great strength, he is able to, really make a difference on the interior of the defensive line here. And Malcolm Koonce on the outside, man, this is going to be one of the scariest defensive lines in all of football next season. Now, before we get any further into this video, I need you guys to do me a massive favor. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you're new, join the family. It is free. It doesn't cost anything, and we will be covering the Raiders throughout the entirety of the offseason, the preseason, the regular season. Everything you guys need to know, we got you covered. Join the family, turn on post notifications, and comment down below, who do you think is the biggest breakout candidate for the Las Vegas Raiders going into 2024, and why do you think they'll break out? Because for me, it is Tyrie Wilson, and it always has been Tyrie Wilson. Now, the Tyrie Wilson breakout is even more relevant now that they have added another player into the mix. Christian Wilkins is one of the most dominant, one of the most explosive, terrifying defensive linemen in all of football. And now you pair him up with Max Crosby, it is going to allow way more one-on-ones with Tyrie Wilson, with Malcolm Koonce, with Max Crosby. All of these guys are going to get less double teams, which is massive in itself, right? Now you look at what they have on the defensive line with these four guys. I don't know how an offensive coordinator is going to plan to stop them. They're probably going to have to keep a running back in the backfield for the majority of the time if they want, even a slither of time in the pocket for the quarterback. But one of the most impressive things about Tyrie Wilson is the things he did during the offseason. The work that he's put in, the grind never stopped, and this dude looks like a completely different human compared to last season. In this photo, we're going to see a bunch of different Raiders here at the Sack Summit with guys like Malcolm Koonce on the left side. You got David Ogoa, you got Charles Snowden, you also have Janarius Robinson, Max Crosby, John Jenkins, and then last and final one, Tyrie Wilson. This dude looks like an absolute monster of a human being this season. You can tell he has literally grinded. I don't know what he's done, what he's changed, but he does not look like he did last season. With all of that being said, I think Tyrie Wilson is poised, positioning himself to break out this season for the Las Vegas Raiders and make their defensive line the best in the NFL. Not only you look at the work that he's put in to build his frame, to get bigger, to get stronger, to get more physical, but also you talk about Christian Wilkins, adding him to the interior of the defensive line alongside Malcolm Koonce and Max Crosby. He is just going to see less and less double teams. He's going to see probably the worst offensive lineman on the interior for the majority of games because Christian Wilkins is just that good of a player that they're going to send most guys towards his side of the field. I think Tyrie Wilson moving from the outside to the inside is also another big thing that is going to work in his favor. You just look at this man. He is going to be a different type of beast, and he's going to be one of their biggest key players on the field pretty much at all times. This is a guy who can get to the quarterback. He can help stop the run, and I think he's, another guy who brings versatility on being able to play on the outside and the inside if need be. And if you ask me, if there's one player that is poised for a breakout season, It is Tyrie Wilson. Now, if you guys want a part 2 of this video, there are a couple more guys I think could break out this year for the Raiders. If you want a part 2, let me know in the comments down below. Hit the like button, subscribe if you're new, join the family, and I'll see you guys in the next Raiders update. Peace.